In fact, if I looked at like the couple hundred people that were, making 40, 50,000 a month in my group, most of those people had a story like mine. They had not had any kind of great success before. They were developed through this industry, this business, and through a process of just like doing what they needed to do day in and day out and developing it. So I think, I know I've said a lot with all this, but that was my focus early on was like disciplined schedule, very structured, and deep why of why I was doing in the first place. I was betting on myself big. I had nothing to lose, so it was like if I got money coming in, I wanted to put it back in and feed the business as quickly as possible. And the crazy thing is, dude, like I never had anybody in my life that had any kind of like entrepreneurial like spirit or business acumen. So to put money back in initially was difficult, but then I thought like, dude, what do I have to lose? Like, what's the worst case? If this thing doesn't work out, I go get a job at Lowe's again. Like, am I going to save my way to success? So if I have a couple grand coming in, I'm not going to stick it. I'm going to put it back in my business, and that's where I got my staff quickly. I got recruiting ads going quickly. Like everything was just an all out, just putting it back in the business. So I mean that's really what I think kind of helps get started quickly. Are those kind of things that build a good foundation.
Yeah, a ton of stuff. I mean, I'm taking notes, and you mentioned a whole lot of things, like plugging into the trainings, like we just talked about it right before you got on, but like I've never seen anybody win who's not a part of and like plugged in. If you try to go out on an island, it's almost like you're just asking to drown, like with all
100%.
uh, not as intense verbiage. I don't know how to put that, but it's like you just literally become, you said caught, like this business is caught, not taught. And if you just sit in live dials, I closed 3 sales yesterday. I had a couple other presentations unmuted. Like I'm in there, Steven's closing sales in there, Audrey's in there every day, Hayden's jumping in there every day. And it's just like you start to be like, oh, that's how they say it. This is how they're saying this. Oh, I'm going to plug in on the trainings because if that person's right in business and they're training, like I want to do that too. And then you just start to speak like them and have habits like them. And you just start to like form into that individual. So training, I love that. Read books, personally develop, massively important, especially if you want to become successful. Like you need to become a better version of yourself. Affirmations, knowing where you want to go. You said vision. All right, I always say to us, our group all the time, we're going to have 1,000 agents writing 100K a year in business. And so we're going to need a lot of leaders. We're going to need a lot of producers to lead the way to pave the path for those people. And so that's vision. Like how many of those people do you want to lead? 100, 200, 300 people that you're helping make 6 figures a year? Being grateful, break and listen to training. I mean, it's just consistency, simple consistency on the right things, right? And I think that you've said so many things, and I've been in this business for a little while, and I can see it. And I think for someone who is new, hopefully it's clicking to be like, okay, I just need to take steps in the right direction every single day. And how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time, right? It's not like you're going to do it all overnight. But can you kind of talk a little bit about, I mean, when you are doing those things and where like you built a huge organization, like not like some, little something like this is, you did the dream, you accomplished the dream in the industry. Everybody joins this with the attitude of, hey, we have the opportunity to sell our business, right? And there's some really, I came from before this not being in the industry and having no experience. But there's people who have been in business on our team who have made 7 figures that are like, I'm coming in with strict intentions to do something to build this thing. And so for everybody on here, like, it doesn't matter your background, but if you're intentional about where you want to go, like, can you kind of give us some light on like that actual end result and like I mean, you did it.